important features that distinguish us as the people of Israel, called to walk according to Yah's commands, would include Shabbat and the observing of the feast days. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 2 of a week of special Pesach or Passover readings. Let's go to the book of Leviticus or Vayikra, chapter 23, and start reading with verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, The appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set-apart gatherings, my appointed times are these. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is a Shabbat of rest, a set-apart gathering. You do no work. It is a Shabbat to Yahweh in all your dwellings. And then follows the observance understandings, let's say that, of all the feast days. Note also that he says, these are not the feast days of Israel or of the Jews. It says that these are my feast days. They belong to Yah, and he wants to share them with us. So what does Shabbat have to do with the feast days? When we're going to list the feast days, why begin with Shabbat? Well, and an important reading pertaining to Shabbat is found in Exodus or Shemot chapter number 20. And verse number 11 says, For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Therefore Yahweh blessed the Shabbat day and set it apart. Yah did this. This is not man's decision. Yah did not take a vote. Yah did not consult any religious committees. He didn't ask for our opinion. He simply said the 7th day is to be set apart. It is Shabbat. And we are commanded of him, not just invited or encouraged, but commanded of him, by him, that we rest on that particular day. By the way of comparison, let's go to the book of Devarim or Deuteronomy, chapter number 5. And verse number 15, You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, and that Yahweh your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore Yahweh your Elohim commanded you to perform the Shabbat day. Okay, in our first reading, Yah says that I am the creator, and therefore as creator, I designate this particular day, the 7th day, Shabbat. Now he says in Deuteronomy chapter 5:15, you will observe or perform or keep or guard the Shabbat because I brought you out of Mitzrayim. Which reason is the right one? Well, they're both right. Are they disconnected? No, not at all. Rabbinical commentators state that Yah as creator moved in the behalf of Am Israel, the people of Israel, while they were living in captivity, in exile, in the land of Mitzrayim or Egypt. And that he demonstrated his mighty right arm. He showed his power. He showed his ability. He brought about these particular plagues. But actually, it wasn't Yah. Remember that Yah has given man dominion in the earth. And Yah would have Moshe to do some act of obedience, to speak to Pharaoh or to let him know that this is what Yah's wanting to do unless he repents. And he would say, Moshe, wave your hand or hold out the rod or declare this word. And then Yah would move in response to the obedience of Moshe and bring about the demonstration of his power in the earth. This power belongs to him because he is the creator of the earth. And he moves to deliver his people. So, with a mighty right arm, he delivered Israel out of their bondage. But he did so by the fact that he is the creator, which is told to us again, if we go back to the book of Exodus chapter 20, he says, I have set this day apart. So the two verses are actually connected. One says he is the creator and he has the right and the authority to establish this particular day as a day of rest. The other says, as creator, he demonstrated his mighty right arm in the behalf of Israel. So it is the one who has created us. Matter of fact, it is the one who has created Israel as the descendants of Abraham. It is his choice to deliver us whenever Israel finds themselves in a pickle and a military situation that is insurmountable, when the world's alignment of nations stand against them and they seem to be standing by themselves. Yah intervenes. He does the miraculous. He uses men and women in miraculous ways to bring about mighty deliverance, such as what we celebrate at Pesach or Passover, how that he moved through Israel and delivered Israel out of their bondage. Now, there is another verse that says, if we go over to, if I can get to it, Shemot chapter number 31, Exodus 31, and verse number 13. And you speak to the children of Israel, saying, my Shabbats you are to guard by all means, for it is a sign, an oat, O-H-T, a mighty sign between me and you throughout your generations, to know that I, Yahweh, am setting you apart, and you shall guard the Shabbat, for it is set apart to you. So Yah sets us apart. It is a sign. It is an indication that we belong to him. Yesterday we talked about the fact that we are being distinguished, that we are being unique in the earth, that we're not like everyone else. When it comes down to it, most folks resist keeping the Torah for three main reasons. Number one, they don't want to be told what they can eat. And so when the Bible or the scriptures of the Torah tells us that we are to eat clean foods, our cultures say, oh, that's been done away with, so therefore we can eat whatever we want. Just remember that Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, were led out of the garden. They were cast out of the garden because they made a bad food choice. Just a thought. But the other two reasons is we don't want to be told when we can observe the Sabbath or the Shabbat, what day we can worship on. And we don't want to be told any instructions about our holidays. We want to celebrate what we want to celebrate. Yah has rather given to us his feast days and said, these belong to me, and I want to share them with you. And when you observe them with me, when you join my party, when you rejoice in the things that I ask you to rejoice in, you become distinguished and set apart in that as my people. The rest of the world is going to throw their own parties. They're going to do their own thing, and they're going to have their own fun. But I want you to observe what I observe. And so it is in the observance of his feast days, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Shavuot, or what we have called Pentecost. When we talk about Yom Teruah, the day of trumpets, when we talk about Yom Kippur, the day of atonement, and when we talk about Sukkot, that grand festival at the end of the season, where we celebrate these things, the feast of the ingathering with him. And we celebrate the goodness of our Elohim and how he has moved in our lives, how he's redeemed us, filled us with his Spirit, given to us his Torah. We rejoice and we celebrate the good work of Yah's hand in our midst. And it is when we keep Shabbat, we recognize he has the authority as the Creator to set days apart, to set people apart, and to distinguish them with this mighty sign. It is the people of Yahweh who keep Shabbat. So keep the Shabbat. Honor his feast days. May this Pesach, this Passover, be a very meaningful encounter for you. And we'll talk more tomorrow. Until then, shalom.